discussion on Christian texts.
Are we talking about history?
Here we are.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Because historically, we said we're moving away from this whole historiography of they're the right group and we're the wrong group to narcissism for small differences. We're saying, I use my words very carefully, but you're usually quite shrewd, yeah? But you didn't listen to what I said. I said self-identified Christians.
But you're not part of the historical
No,
argument.
but John, please. I said self-identified Christians. If I say Ahmadis are self-identified Muslims, I don't believe that they're Muslims. I don't. But they identify themselves as Muslims.
So would it be fair of me to make pronouncements about the development of Islam based upon the evidence of the Ahmadiyya?
If they were the early community.
Would it?
Yes, if they were the early community, it would be.
Right, so that brings up the issue of your... So that brings up the issue of why Shia and Sunni can't agree about your hadiths. The earliest community of Muslims, it's parallel to the debate. You're trying to criticize the Christian faith based upon debate that Christians... Hold on 1 second. 1 second, Mohammed. You're trying... One second. We won't. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
People will say, not me.
Why is it?
People will say,
no. Why is it Muslims are always frightened to see the parallels in their own religion? Right, so if you're not frightened, let me make the parallels. Let's not. Let's talk about Islam as well as Christianity.
But we'll just do one thing at a time.
We did talk about epistemology and presupposition, and that means you can talk about your presupposition.
Exactly.
No problem, I agree. But
no, Mohammed, I'm going to make a point because you spoke for a while.
So Athanasius, he got
I'm going to deal with Athanasius, and I'm going to deal with the facts. For example, let's compare Athanasius to the Mauritanian canon. Do you know about the Mauritanian canon? Of course you do, because you've got this great masters in history and you know all about the canon process, right? Do you know about the Mauritanian canon?
Are you a bit jealous of that?
I'm mocking you. I'm mocking you.
Don't be jealous, brother.
I'm mocking you. So do you know about the Mauritanian canon?
Sorry.
Right, so is that a yes or no? You do or you don't? Do you know it?
No.
Right, okay. Right, so he doesn't know about the Mauritanian canon. So we'll go we're going to deal with the Mauritanian canon, the letter of Athanasius, and why the whole logic of argument that Muhammad is now using is totally flawed. Because Muhammad is trying to discredit the Christian faith because of debates within the early church, about our canon of scripture. That debate was settled by Christians by 410 AD. Muslims today still can't agree upon which hadiths are reliable. They all claim to have this brilliant science of hadiths, and yet Sunni don't trust Shia hadith and Shia don't trust Sunni hadith. So why then, when you use the hadiths to interpret the Quran, is this not discrediting your faith, but a debate that happens similar to the one that is still going on amongst Muslims today?
Yes.
That we Christians actually managed to come to a reconciled answer on, discredits our faith. Now let's deal.
You make a good point.
Let's deal with
I agree with you on a point.
Okay,
can I agree with
and then I'll deal with the Mauritanian and the Athanasius.
I think you're right to compare, to some extent, the hadith and the
canon of scripture.
Yeah, because Ibn Taymiyyah in his book, he wrote a book called Jawab Sahih, which means like the right reply, right? And in it he does the same thing, in fact. He says that the Gospels, and I think what he was referring to was the four Gospels, which he said that has no sanad, which means it has no chain of narration, it has no provenance.
Yeah.
And that was his main criticism. He said that they have no provenance, but he said that those Gospels can sometimes be seen where it doesn't
No, it's fine, man. Don't worry, man.
to be quite similar in rank to, for example, a weak or fabricated hadith, etc. But the point is, we should be comparing like for like. The hadith is good, and I agree with you, there are lots of fabricated hadith and weak hadith we should reject. But you're not agreeing with me that the gospel should be rejected. So not no.
Where was the first copy of Bukhari?
200 years after Muhammad. When were the Gospels written? I mean, you're a historian.
What depends on which one we're talking about.
All of the Gospels. So what is the last date that we can say confidently? All the Gospels. When were they all concluded to be written? 95 AD. So our Gospels are far closer to the reality than your hadiths.
That's a good question. Why is it falsely understood? Let me tell you why, right? Is your understanding of Bukhari...
I want to get onto Athanasius and the Mauritanian canon.
This has to be corrected.
Yeah.
To be fair, you might. I see that you have done a bit of research when it comes to Christian early history.
Thanks, G. That's really kind of you.
No. But when it comes to, would you accept that maybe your knowledge of Islamic early history is not as strong?
Yeah, I think that would be a fair.
That's fair. All right. So would you accept me if I were to give you evidences?
I want to see the evidence.
Right. So for example, Bukhari, right?
Yep.
Say he died 238 AH.
After Hijrah.
After Hijrah.
So Muhammad's long dead by this point.
Died at 11 AH.
Yeah.
So a good 220 years.
Do you mind if we speak, please?
All right.
They are different.
No, but Josh, I'm giving you what you want to hear.
They don't like it.
The assumption is
You're losing your Dawah channels because you're losing the debate, but it's okay.
by saying it doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was that
That'll teach me. We're no one's being unfriendly, I mean, and you're a big guy, you can defend yourself. So don't be a soy boy.
So what I was going to say was, I was going to say that, for example, your assumption is that Bukhari, because of its compilation of the hadith, that those hadiths...
Your stuff is here, don't worry, mate.
And what I want to tell you is that they were actually existing in oral and written form. And I have evidence for that.
I'd like to see it.
Okay, so the evidence, for example, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, I'm sure you're aware of, he's the second caliph, the first caliph, he lived with him. He wrote a book himself of hadith called Kitab al-Zakat.
Do we still have this one?
Yes.
Okay, how
And
many
you know
is
what?
it?
I can tell you. Can I say
And how many hadiths are there?
No, there's a few hadiths.
Few?
No, not a few. There's a lot of
How
hadiths.
many? What's the number?
It depends on the nuskhah. It depends on the...
This is an important question hold on. Because we know how many hadiths later Muslims had by building up Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, and we've got the number.
I appreciate it.
So if that number of the earlier guy doesn't match the later number, then something's gone wrong.
You talked me today about the
Mauritanian canon.
Yes, okay, so this is something of my tradition I wish to tell you about, which is that it wasn't just, I'm giving you one example, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Amr ibn al-As,
Investigate that.
no, I will definitely tell you. Okay. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Amr ibn al-As, Ali ibn Abi Talib, all of those Sahaba, which were companions of the Prophet, lived with him, wrote books which were around and incorporated by Bukhari.
Right.
And so Bukhari's mission was not to make his own hadith, it was to put together the strongest in terms of chain of authenticity hadiths that existed already. And so he took, for example, those books of Abu Bakr and Ali and so on.
Yeah.
So that's one point.
So why did the Shia reject them?
The Shia reject them, that's a good question, because they don't accept Abu Bakr.
Right. So the point is,
For theological reasons.
exactly. So you're making an argument about the uniformity of scripture
I didn't make an
when your
argument.
own scripture is non-uniform.
No, can I tell you something?
Muslims do not agree.
John, sorry, the lack of agreement of something is not a proof of falsity.
Thank you. Remember he said that?
Yeah. The lack of agreement of something is not a proof, it's falsity.
There we go.
Otherwise, all of our religions will be false.
Right. I'm glad we've established that. I'm glad we've established that.
So the point
Right,
is,
so now let's go to Indonesia
from
and the
historical,
Mauritanian.
I'll tell you something, right? From Orientalist perspective, Orientalist, Western, unbiased, seemingly unbiased, but they have their own Orientalist
Everyone's got the
bias. Yeah. Those guys, when they look at the historical data, many of them accept the Sahaba as a legitimate authority of transmission. Now, the reason why they do so is because they don't see the theological argument that the Shia put forward. So, looking at it from a strictly historical perspective, I think we'll come to different results. I wasn't making an argument of the uniformity of scripture. I was making an argument of the preservation of it. And there's a difference between the two. But going back to what I was talking about Athanasius, because we've done a lot of, I've answered all of your questions. I believe I have. And I've tried to be as charitable as possible in doing so, and as honest as possible in doing so, with providing as many evidence as possible. But I think now, the burning question that everyone needs to hear the answer to is this question.
You need to hear the answer.
Yes,
You need to hear it. You don't represent everyone else, you represent yourself.
Fine, I agree. I need to hear, because I'm confused, let's say. And the question is, when it relates to Athanasius,
Yeah.
we accept, everyone here accepts, he is the one who made the shortlist, 27 books. This shortlist was he was a political elite connected to Constantine at his time. This shortlist was then taken on board by other councils, and thereafter some accepted it. However, before that time, before Athanasius came up with this shortlist, 27 books of the New Testament as we know them today were not seen as the uniform New Testament that we thereafter saw it as.
Yeah.
My question is simple. Who gave Athanasius such authority so as to unilaterally, autonomously come to a conclusion that those 27 books of the New Testament are the Word of God? That, for example, the Gospel of Thomas.
You've made your point.
For example,
For
example, the Gospel of
I'll
Thomas
let
is
you
not
reply
in it.
and then I'll reply.
And sorry, Revelation, which was about not to be in the Bible, should be part of it.
Well, Revelation moved in and out, didn't it? We know the history.
Yes.
We established, I did ask you.
No, it's fine. I just hold it just so he doesn't get knocked over.
I read through Eusebius.
Yeah, that's not Athanasius.
Yeah.
When you read Athanasius comes from London against the world, you will have the answer to your
So
question.
can I have it from you because you've read it?
Well, because if you read the book, he's quoting John, Luke, etc. He's doing, wait a minute,
The whole 27 books.
he's doing, if you know where Athanasius came from, you know where he came from? Alexandria, yeah. He was quoting the scriptures
I'm from Alexandria myself.
because
Shame you're not a Coptic Christian.
Because A, he believed in hearing of the scripture, and C, the community in there were 4 or 5 different key areas. There was Gaul, there was Antioch,
Yes.
there was Alexandria.
Yes.
All these communities were using these scriptures, so he could only say what was scripture, what the community was saying was scripture.
Right, so allow me to add to this.
Yes, please, yeah.
To understand what canon is, we have to understand what the debate was about, where it emerged from, and what they hoped to achieve.
Yes.
Right, do you know where the debate emerged from?
Of the canonists.
About canonicity?
So I know that there was a debate.
Yeah, I'm asking, do you know why it emerged?
I think that answer would have been for a question.
What? It's important.
So it was to do with the well, no, it was actually later. It was the Montanists. So he came. Marcion didn't trigger that. I know what he did,
So,
but he didn't.
so now you're going back to Gnostic times.
So you want an answer, so let me answer.
Yes, sir.
So firstly, canonicity and preservation are not the same thing. So they are connected, but to conflate the two like you're attempting to demonstrates that you either don't understand the topic or you're being willful about what argument you're trying to make. Because the argument about canonicity is not decisive question.
Oh, you don't know who Okay.
So when you said, I was making an argument about preservation based on the fact that we've been talking about canonicity for the last 40 minutes, means that your whole argument was based on the
No.
Let me finish. So the point.
John, you made a comment.
The point of canonicity. Yeah, you can in your time.
All right.
The point of canonicity was to decide which books shall be read in the church, not which books shall be read. Now, the fact of the matter is, early Christians.
Can I ask where'd you get that?
Just by knowing the topic, friend. So yes, of course. Yeah, because when they were talking, if you
And what church are we talking about? The Eastern or the West?
we're talking about the one church because there was only one church at this time. So in terms of we're talking about within the first 400 years. So in terms of this discussion. Yeah, it was before Palestine. So in terms of this, yes, in terms of the church and this dialogue, it was about which books can be read in the church, which books can be taught in the church, not about which books can be read. So for example,
I have
an example. So an example is that the Shepherd of Hermes was a book popular amongst Christians and widely read by Christians. It was a book of catechism. As you came into the church, you would be given the Shepherd of Hermes a copy to read if it was available to read.
Yes.
Now, not all Christians recognise the distinction between that which comes from the apostolic teaching and that which developed from the apostolic teaching, and Christians were confused. So you would go to some churches, and from the pulpit, they would read the Shepherd of Hermes and teach from it. That what the argument about canonicity is about saying which churches are the custodian of the apostolic teaching. So the church in these different centres, over a process, came to identify what these scriptures are. So the Mauritanian canon, which is mid-2nd century. So between 100 and 200. How many books? 22. Okay. 20. Which ones? Right, that's the point. So in the debate around canonicity, there were discussions about things that were called proto-canonical and discussions around what was called deuterocanonical.
Right, okay.
Okay? So a deuterocanonical book was a book disputed. Right. Examples of books. Revelation. Okay. Hebrews. 2 Peter. 2 John. 3 John. These are the kinds of books that were disputed. Okay? Notice, please note, not the Gospels, which is what you were trying to present it as earlier.
I never said that.
No, you did. You said the Gospels. Quite clearly.
No, honestly, I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, if I said that, if I said that, I retract that. Because why? I want to make this very clear, actually, right now, because I'm happy you said this. I want to make it very clear that from my reading of primary source materials of early church fathers, that it is quite abundant, their references to the 4 Gospels.
Definitely.
So there's no doubt about that. I've seen it with my own two eyes.
So you accept that the church recognised the 4 Gospels?
I would say, in terms of the majority of church fathers I came across,
all church fathers.
I can't say that because I haven't read all of them.
Right.
But,
all the ones you've read?
All the ones I've read, no, but sometimes they may mention 2 and not the other one.
It was a good angle. Yeah.
So, but definitely they mention those, They do mention those. That's not my argument. But can I just, sorry, you've made some really valuable points, and I thank you for your enlightening and edifying segment, and thank you as well. But I just want to come back now and ask the question in a different way, because I think where you have provided a lot of edification, there are some unanswered questions here. My question is to the authorities, okay? Now, there was maybe a brief way to attempt to try and answer that question, but my question is, we all agree that Athanasius, he's the one who made the short list of the 27 books. Where before, 27 books were not, there was no consensus that those are the books that were God's word, meant to be read.
But do you agree that they were known?
Which ones?
That all 27 books were known, and that some Christians did recognise them?
Well, like the book of that's a good question.
But do you recognise them?
Let me answer that question. So I think that there's some truth in that claim. For example, if you talk about the 13 books of, supposed books of Paul,
the letters,
that's right, the letters of Paul. But they're books in the, letters of Paul. I think from my reading, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, many of those have disputed authenticity.
Not many, no.
So there's 7 that are kind of 7 of 13 are undisputed, but the rest of them, there is a discussion, a scholarly discussion on that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
And there was at the time.
All right, exactly. Right. So that's exactly why I hesitated in answering the question in one word. But here's what I would say to you then. If we're not sure, would you...
We are sure.
I haven't even said the thing. I haven't even said what I was going to say.
Okay, but you're saying we. Speak for yourself, not for me.
Okay.
Don't say we, say I.
Could be, okay, I apologize.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure. You're the only one that's not sure.
Okay, well then you guys are here to teach me, What I was going to say was 27 books of the New Testament.
Yeah.
Is it central to the Christian faith that we recognize all 27 books as the word of God?
So that's a question that Christians have disagreement upon. Yeah. But to be clear, all Christians do recognise the 27 books. So the question of its centrality is something that we can discuss. But they do recognise them. By contrast, Muslims are in disagreement about their hadiths. So if you're going to make any argument about what is the impact of this disputation about canonicity.
Yes.
You should be consistent
I am.
and apply it to Islam as well.
I've said that to you. I've already told you that Ibn Taymiyyah says he makes the same exact.
But then you referred back to the Gospels. We're talking about the hadith.
No. I agree with you. The hadith. This is my position. Let me just make it clear. You're absolutely right. What you said there was absolutely fair enough. And I'll say to you today on camera, right? Everyone is listening.
I think the first member of the Dawah team that's actually willing to be consistent on a principle. Well done. Well done, Mohammed.
What I'll say to you guys today, any hadith which does not withhold the scrutiny of the historical process of preservation will not only be rejected by me, but will be something I will not accept as having any authority whatsoever.
Can you recommend something we can read on that?
Yeah, so there's lots of things we can read on that.
There's just one key book there.
Yeah, one book.
That
Then come back and interrogate you. Yeah, of course in English.
In English, yeah,
Wow, man, I don't
it's
know.
important because it's a dialogue as well as
Okay, I'll tell you in Arabic. I don't know.
I'll put it on the video.
Yeah. What we will go through in Arabic, I don't know about English to be honest, yeah. Although that guy, what's that guy, Osama Hassan, yeah? That guy that believes his dad, he wrote a book in English. I can't forget the name of it. But in Arabic, they go through Muqbat al-Fiqh, which is Ibn Hijab al-Asqalani's book. But then after that, they got Ibn Salah's Muqaddimah. There's lots of books. But, sorry, just to give you that minute of the now, because we don't need to contradict each other. I totally agree with you, yeah? If any hadith has been shown when rigorously interrogated from a historical process that it does not have a link.
You're changing your argument. No, you're changing your argument. You've just subtly changed your argument. You've stood here for the last 40 minutes making an argument that confuses preservation with canonization and basing that on the disputes amongst early Christians. When I reversed that and said that Muslims disagree with the hadith and therefore you should be you should apply similar principles. Indeed, no, 1 second. Now that I'm encouraging you to reverse it, now you're changing your argument, and you think because you're introducing something new. You're now saying that it's actually based upon can we link the book back to its first people. So now you're changing the thing that we've just been discussing about for 40 minutes.
That's what all historians do.
No, all historians make consistent arguments. You've just changed your argument in the last 5 minutes.
Let me tell you why. You think I have.
No, that's exactly what the camera will show you.
No, John, let me tell you why I haven't. The reason why I haven't is because to know something happened in history, you have to go through witnesses, yeah?
You have to look through evidence.
Of course you do. Of course you do, John. There's no doubt about that. But the evidences of witness testimony.
No, the evidence could be anything. It can be artifacts, it can be first-hand testimony, it can be historical accounts. It can include witnesses. Like anything.
No problem. So, just in the same way as you probably agree that many of the gospel writers, they might have had interactions with Jesus, and therefore you're willing to take their narrations because they interacted with Jesus. I'm saying the same thing. But so long as everyone has criteria, I would put to you though that you don't have a problem. Can we prove? That's a different question altogether. But can we actually prove that the four gospel writers have a problem with all of them back to Jesus Christ? You know, they are.
Well, hold on 1 second, because he is changing it. He's trying to change the argument, and he thinks that we haven't spotted it, but we have.
Even if I make a different argument,
He's making a different argument. He's abandoning the argument about. Right, he's no, hold on 1 second.
Shaking Stevens.
He's shaking Stevens. He's abandoning the argument about canonicity because he's realised that if he lays down principles about canonicity, they will blow up in your face in terms of Islam. And the fact that Muslims cannot agree about Muslims. Yes, you do.
No, hold on.
Hold
Can
on.
you prove that?
Yeah, because yes, there are hadiths that show.
Would you call it canon?
Right. No, you don't call it canon.
So what's a canon?
You don't call it.
What's a canon?
It's an agreed list of books that are reliable to read.
Okay, we don't have to keep.
Right. So you don't have a list of books that are reliable to read.
No.
So you don't have hadiths that are reliable.
No, we have hadiths that are reliable. That's a different question.
Okay.
No, but
And can you read them?
You can read that, of course you can.
Right.
But now here's the thing. what you're doing here. Can I be fair and honest with you?
I'm not doing anything.
Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, he's not doing it.
What I was going to say is you're confusing the language of Christianity and Christian scholarship.
Fair enough.
with
I'll
Islamic,
take that on the chin. That's a fair point.
No problem. So what I'm saying is that you're using the word canon.
No, I agree. I shouldn't use the word canon.
Let me tell you something.
But you have an equivalent. You have an equivalent.
Al-Bukhari, which is, according to the Sunni discourse, the most authentic piece of hadith. Yeah. By whose judgment?
Unless it's embarrassing, in which case the Dawah team say it's not. Because we quote lots of Sahih, Bukhari hadith in this park,
Can you talk to them about
and
it?
Muslims say that they're not
I
believable.
don't know what they say. My point is this: it's not inconceivable on academic grounds for someone to go to the Bukhari or Muslim, and to look at hadith as weak inside of it, like many others. So we
Is
don't.
that the Sahih collection?
Yeah.
So the issue of Sahih is being revisited by later Muslims.
No, by early ones.
Like, how can an earlier Muslim than Bukhari visit a book that Bukhari hasn't written?
Yeah, because they were contemporaries.
They were contemporaries. So, okay, fair enough. So he's gone and he's disagreed with Sahih al-Bukhari about what's reliable.
Not in all of the hadiths, in some of them.
In some of them,
Yeah.
in some of them. So Bukhari said that these are reliable, and this other guy said that
no,
they
these ones are not yet.
Okay, so what we've and now tell me as a Sunni Muslim, why do you reject Shia hadith?
We don't. We reject some of them
Some of them. Why do you reject those some?
because they're written by people who are. First of all, they're not narrated back. A lot of them are not rated back to the Prophet Muhammad. You claim. No, they would say the same thing. So they are narrating the imams, not the prophets. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So the Shias believe in 12 imams, and those 12 imams, they're meant to be infallible people that we follow, after the Prophet, that are meant to have the same rank as the Prophet, as all the prophets except for the Prophet Muhammad, We say that particular belief is a flawed one. We don't accept it. So they would say, for example, Hussein, which is Ali's son, is higher ranked than Jesus Christ, for example. We say no. We say Jesus Christ is higher ranked than Hussein. All the prophets are more higher than him. So the point, what I'm trying to say is that their hadith go back to the imam. So for example, what does Ja'far al-Sadiq say?
So what you're saying is the belief predicates which sources you use.
Of course it does.
Right. So in the same way, Christians, the belief predicates our sources.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's no problem with that. We can debate that time.
Do we agree?
Right. So
Can I just say, you know what I call the
I moved it this way because he was elbowing the phone.
it is, yeah.
Because
But you don't know much about it.
It's not in the same league. It's not in the same league as Western historiography when it comes to
So let me ask you a question. If you know so much about it, right? What are the conditions of a Sahih hadith?
But there's the science of hadith, and I've been on to Mansour's side about the science of hadith.
So what's the condition?
No, you've got a massive list.
So can you give me
Take for example, Surah 1. Give me the chain of narration for that. What's the chain of narration?
So
Let's see if we can give some historical credence.
So that's a very good question. He asked me, I want you to do the same thing. That's a good challenge, right? But can I apply? Well, I'll do it for you, but you do it for me as well, yeah? So, you agree?
I'm sorry, I was distracted. So
He said to me, Surah Al-Fatiha, chapter 1 of the Quran, give me the chain of narration for it, right? So I said, no problem.
Surah 1.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for you, but you do it with me, going back to Jesus as well, yeah? All right. So, for example, Hafs and Shu'bah narrated to Asim.
Hafs, did you say Hafs?
Yeah.
There are hadith that talk about Hafs is not reliable.
No, you're talking about Asim. It's not hadith. It's something else. Don't worry about it. I'll talk about it.
that he stole something. He did
Hafs and
return some books.
No. You ask me a question. I want to answer all your questions today. I don't want to leave anything unanswered.
Give us a chain of
Yeah. Hafs and Shu'bah narrated upon Asim, narrated upon Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami, narrated upon Ibn Mas'ud, narrated upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Where's the book, the main document?
No, but does that answer your question?
No, not really.
No, let me get.
And I'll explain why.
Let me-
Because all you've done is you've just given a list of names. But that list of names had to be. But that list of names had to be written at the end, which means that list of names came centuries later.
So would you like to? Okay, perfect. So if I can show you, okay, perfect. That's a good point. Now let me show you something. You said Hafs. Asim died 123 AD, I think. Yeah, either 123 or 128. Hey, sorry, AH. I'm telling you, Asim died 128 AD, which is 110 years after Muhammad's death. He narrated about 128 years. Sorry, about 120 years old.
Would you stop there?
Yeah.
The Gospel of John.
He keeps elbowing your phone, so I have to move the thing.
So what was that?
Polycarp. He died in the 1950s.
Right, so what?
180.
Thank you. So when was yours?
No, I'm still going.
No, I'm just saying that.
Can I tell you something else here? This is just one chain. What I'm going to tell you is that those chains were what you call mutawatir, which means that on each level, there wasn't just one person who took it. It was tens of people who took it. So, for example,